Recording in progress.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining today's call. Haven't noticed in the schedule in the chat, the running order has just been tweaked slightly, so we'll now open with Josh Warrington and then move on to Mauricio Lara at 2:30 p.m. So apologies for the lateness of that. If you'd like to ask Josh a question, if you just raise the hand emoji or drop me a message. Josh is coming in now, so if you just pop your cameras on too, that would be appreciated. How's it going?
Yeah, well, sit you wrong. Yeah, there you go. You okay?
Yeah, thank you very much, mate. So it'll be the same setup as always. We do have a few Mexican outlets on here as well, so Kieran will help with translation.
Right.
Okay, so we will get going. First up, I will hand to Ben Mckenna, please.
Hi again, Josh. How you doing?
Hello, Ben. How are you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Yeah.
How's the last week kind of been training-wise? How you feeling?
Yeah, ready to fight now. Ready to fight. It's that gets to that stage where you've gone over the game plan a million times in your head, physically, and it's just, you want to put it into practice now. And you know, sparring and everything else you can do with opponents who can mimic Mauricio Lara, but no one's going to be as like Mauricio Lara is himself. So, you know, I just want to get in there now and go to work.
And at Headingley, 20,000 Leeds people.
Yeah.
How much are you looking forward to getting back in front of them? Because it's nearly been 2 years, hasn't it, since you were in front of a home crowd?
This is it, and time moves very, very quickly. I mean, 2 years ago, like I say, I were a world champion, and I just been on run, 3 successful defences, and last time I boxed in front of a crowd, it was a hell of an occasion. You know, we had the drummers there, and went on to coach out in 2 rounds, and unbelievable atmosphere. You know, the year before that, obviously with the time I won the world title against Selby, so having boxed back in February, you know, it was a weird setup, a weird scenario, but yeah, I certainly can't wait to be back in front of the noise, in front of the energy that the crowd bring.
And have you allowed yourself to think about what might be next? If you win on Saturday, have you kind of looked down the line, or? Yeah,
a massive cheeseburger. A massive cheeseburger. That's the only thing I'm really thinking about. I know there's potential other fights could happen, but you know, I'm just pushing that out of my head. I've got to win on Saturday, and that's all my intention is. That and cheeseburgers. That's it.
What do you think about the featherweight division at the minute? Do you feel it's getting pretty exciting again? I know Lee Wood's been mandated to fight Michael Conlon. Things like that, on home shores and abroad. It's pretty exciting times, isn't it?
Yeah, it is exciting time. I mean, certainly domestically, there's a lot of big fights happening over the year. Obviously, a few weeks back, we had Kid and Jazza fighting for the world title. Like you say, Conlon and Lee Wood. It'd be interesting to see what happens with the champions overseas. You know, your Gary Russells and your Little Santa Cruzes, because they seem to be inactive. I know that Navarrete's been wanting to be out more. But yeah, the Gary Russell Jr. and Leo Santa Cruz have both been very quiet, so it'd be interesting to see what happens with them. But to answer your question, British boxing and the British heavyweight scene has been very good for the public.
Thanks very much, Josh. Best luck.
Yes, Ben. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. If we go to Chris Ridgway next, please.
Josh, how are we, mate? We okay?
Hi, Chris.
Good to see you.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
want to jump straight into camp questions. How has camp been different this time around, coming up against Mauricio Lara again?
Well, it's not been as long. That is one thing what stands out straight away. I think last time I had about 6-month camp because dates kept on moving and fights. We didn't know where we were with the pandemic and we didn't have a nailed on date. So I was just training more or less from last August to February the 13th. So that's not a bad thing to keep in the gym. But when you're actually in camp and you're preparing like you've got a fight coming up in a few weeks' time, then it does chip away at you. So yeah, I'm always fit. I'm always strong. Going into a fight with someone who've already boxed, there's been a lot more technical work going in. So that's one thing what really stands out. But as always, train hard and fit for 12 rounds.
I know this question's going to come around quite a lot, but the fans obviously back this time around. It's not just any set of fans either; it's the home set of fans and a noisy bunch at that as well. What difference does it make as a fighter? Like, what difference are you anticipating?
Oh, it's massive, man. I mean, I've said this many times, and I probably bore myself, saying it. But people will say they can't get in ring with you, and I know that. But it's what they do for myself. Like, it's the energy what they bring. The noise and the passion. Now, if they do manage to take an opponent out of his game plan, then that's a bonus. But I don't think about it that. I think about what they can do for me. It's just how my mentality approaches the fight, knowing that people are going to be there, and the noise, like I said, they're going to bring. It makes me switch on, tune up, and gets that adrenaline flowing, through the body. So it's going to be massive having them there, and I do like having my own crowd, and if I were to fight abroad, they'd follow me there as well if they're allowed. So if late stages of my career I do fight over in the States, I will have a home away from home. So they are fantastic.
Final one from me, just on the Leeds front. Fellow Leeds, although more of an adopted hometown fighter, Ebony Bridges joins you on the card. What's it like having Ebony on the card, being another Leeds fan?
Yeah, it's nice. Obviously, she represents the club very well. She talks a lot about Leeds, but I think more than anything, it's having the actual homegrown Leeds lads on there. You like Jack Bateson, you like Mally Wright, who's making his debut, Brandon Stansfield, Opie Price. These are actually. I mean, Opie shared a video over there on his social media with about 14 or maybe even younger, and I'm giving him a trophy at his club show down in Hunslet. So. Seeing like them guys come on and progress, it's proud moment for me, because when it's all said and done for me, I want to be going to the arenas and stadiums and watching them headline for their world titles and big title fights, and hopefully I've been an inspiration to them boys who are fighting on the undercard and say, I was just an average lad off at a state and look what I achieved. You boys can do it as well. So I think that means more to me than listen. I love Ebony. I think she's fantastic, and she's represent the football club very well. But yeah, the homegrown talent, it means a lot to me to have them on there.
Top man, all the best for it, mate.
Cheers, Chris.
Thanks, Chris. If we go to Josh from Leeds Live next, please.
Well, hey, Josh.
How you doing?
Hey there, mate.
Yeah, sorry, I'm struggling to get it off mute. How are you doing?
Yeah, there you are. You okay, mate?
I'm not bad, thank you. Just firstly, your old nemesis Carl Frampton has said ahead of this fight that it's you that's under pressure this time round. Do you feel the same?
Yeah, I always feel the pressure. It don't matter, like any kind of fight. There's always pressure on it.
I'm here. I'm doing some stuff in the
background. Many times, boxing's like any other sport. It's not like any other sport. You can't afford slip-ups. Nothing's ever scheduled, and it's not like tournaments are scheduled. You have to keep on winning in order for your career to progress. So yeah, I know that if I slip up, then I ain't looking at world titles and things like that anymore. It's going to be a long time to climb up back up. And now I've been in the sport 11 years, so there's always pressure. There's always pressure, and especially, like I say, fighting a big audience, that does bring pressure, even though it's an advantage. But we're thriving for it. That's why we do it.
And obviously, it's your first time preparing for a fight on the back of a defeat last time out. How does that affect your mindset, and what difference does it make to you, if any?
Obviously, I know what to expect. I know what Mauricio brings. I know his. I know about the power in his punches. I know about how he moves and how he's going to approach it. So obviously, that's been helpful in the way that I can visualize it. It's been helpful in the way that we prepare for our game plan. So that's been a bit different, and I think more than anything, I've been coming off a lot of injuries, as taking the time to get back to 100% recovery. That took a bit of time, but we're flying. We're ready to go now. We're ready to go. So it's just all being said and done. Get the results done and put it into practice on Saturday.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Josh. I'll hand you over. Good luck this weekend.
Cheers, Josh. Thanks, mate.
Thank you, Josh. If we go to Jeremy Herridges next, please.
Hi, Josh. Thank you for taking the time. I got on a couple minutes late, so apologies if I'm asking any repeat questions here. But when you go back and you watch the Mauricio Lara fight for the first time, what was your reaction to it?
What the fucking hell were you doing? What were you doing, Josh, man? That was my initial reaction. Excuse me for my language there, but yeah, just disappointed with myself more than anything. Seeing the mistakes, and Mauricio capitalized on them. He'd seen them as well, and he took advantage of them mistakes what I was making. So when I watched it back, it was just the mistakes. How open I was, that's it.
Now, looking at going into this fight, are you considering it kind of evaluative, questioning? Is it something that he did in the fight to win it, or is there a decline in maybe your abilities? Are these thoughts running through your head, and are you trying to find answers to that?
Well, Jeremy, you're making it sound like I'm old.
No, you're younger than me, so.
You know what? I'm like, I was thinking about this myself. I thought to myself, have I had my peak? I had my peak, 2017, 18, 19, fantastic years for me, the people who I'd beat. And I had momentum in my stride. And obviously, I've been a victim of the COVID, having to sit out for 15 months, then back in. But it did take away from momentum. I mean, like 2 years ago, I was looking towards fights with Shakur Stevenson, Gary Russell, Leo Santa Cruz, and we'll just try to get them over the line, get them announced, and it couldn't have been done. And then obviously the pandemic happened, and I had to wait even a bit longer. But I don't think it's too much of a decline of what happened to myself. I feel fit. I'm like, on paper, all my records and everything else, I'm fitter, stronger than I ever have been. I'm experienced. I just think like there were a few things on the night what just wasn't right, and Mauricio took advantage of them, and simple as that.
Got it. Josh, thank you so much, and best of luck to you.
Cheers, Jeremy. Have a good one, mate.
Thanks, Jeremy. If we go to Jim Conlon for his question next, please.
Hi, Josh. You mentioned there about getting yourself back into the spotlight again in terms of the boxing scene. Do you almost feel like you're having to try and reinvent yourself all over again? A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Certainly when I see some of the articles what going out, it's like, fucking hell, people just forgot about Josh Warrington and what he's done over the years. I've been headlining shows and fighting big names since 2013. It's like all of a sudden, all these young lads who've had the bumps and the mistakes throughout their career, no one's remembering what they've done. They're just seeing what they're doing now. So I guess it's just the nature of the sport. But I think I'd like to put like by Saturday night, that'll be all put to bed, and I'll be back where I was.
Cheers, Josh. Best of luck.
Thanks, Jim. Short and sweet.
Thanks, Jim. If we go to Steve from Boxing UK next, please.
Hi, Josh. It's Steve from Boxing UK.
Hi, Steve.
Hiya, Josh. Josh, can I ask a personal one?
Go on.
Obviously, the last time out was your first defeat. Away from the boxing ring, how did you take that personally, mate?
I don't know, mate. I don't know, to be honest with you, Steve. Personally, it's a good question. I just took it as it's happened, and we move on. As simple as that. You know, there were a few times when it got me down a little bit because I was frustrated with myself because, you know, fights that I should have happened after obviously didn't. But aside from that, the support has been absolutely fantastic from those who are around me, those who follow my journey, and they still stick by me. So nothing else really has changed, you know. My missus still loves me. My kids still love me. So, you know, happy days.
Good man. The other thing I want to know that, Josh, is when you suffer a defeat that on paper looks quite comprehensive, do you in your heart of hearts know what you need to do to turn that around? Because a lot of people think that was such a comprehensive defeat that is a lot of people's favourite this weekend. Yeah.
Listen, we know what we need to do, and I think I'm beyond that. You know, looking into who's underdog, who's favourite, and stuff like that. Listen, we know what we need to do, and you know, I've said it many times. I've been about the sport a long time, so you know, I've been massively written off loads and loads of time. It's not new to me. It's about what we do on the night, and you know, I've already got an idea of what people are going to be saying after. Oh, he's back, and then he is, and you know, listen, I've just got to concentrate on what I need to do, and then that's it, and I'll be victorious in that.
Good man. I know everybody has mentioned the fans, but we were ringside for the Takush fight, and it is mental, isn't it? Just what does it give you?
It's just a different energy. It's just a different energy, and I've learned how to use that energy to an advantage. You know, there's times when it can have an effect on the opponents as well. For instance, when I boxed Carl Frampton, every time he went forward, his fans went nutty. But that played into my hands because I wanted him to do that, and then he got a bit too wild. Whereas when my fans are going crazy, you know, it can get into their heads. But more than anything, it's just the energy that they bring me. It's like it makes me sharpen up, makes me stay disciplined, and put on a performance for them.
Last one from me, Josh. Have you got a path? What happens if you win? And God forbid, have you got a path of what you're going to do if you get beat again?
That's a nasty question. That's Steve. No, listen, I only see myself winning. And that's it. And you know, journey continues with Josh Warrington on Saturday. Believe me.
Good man, Josh. Best of luck at the weekend, mate. Take care.
Thank you. Cheers, mate.
Thank you, Steve. If we go to Greg Cook next, please.
Hi, Josh. Hope you're well, mate, and thanks for having a quick chat with me with the BBTV. I know we've covered a lot about the fans. I know we've covered a lot about you know, the fight itself. But 2 points that have jumped out for me from the first fight were a few points that went under the radar. Number one being the heart that you showed in that fight and the chin that you showed in that fight. And the second point is a lot of people made a big deal, I think, about the fact that it's an arena, there were no fans. And it was you that took the brunt of that. Now, Mauricio Lara has never fought in front of 20,000 people before, and you have got that experience. Do you feel people should be looking at that a little bit more, and should he be concerned about that?
That's a brilliant point, mate, to be fair. And I appreciate the first bit you said as well. Like I say, our fucking more or less concourse from round 4 onwards, and it still took him another 5 rounds to get me out there. And he landed a lot of clean shots in that sense. I know this time he won't get as many shots off of me. I can guarantee that. And secondly, yeah, it might be somewhat what he may have overlooked. Obviously, everyone's talking about how it can be a massive benefit for me. But like you say, he's never walked out in front of that. Now, will it bother him? Will it not? We won't know until the night. But there's factors to deal with. Like, I do believe the press conference and weigh-in are going to be public, and my fans they show the passion. They make themselves heard, and you know, even if it takes 1 or 2% off you as you walk into the ring, you know, you get a bit distracted and you start looking at people's faces. It's an advantage to me every time. So maybe they're prepared for it. I don't know, but like I say, I know how much of a massive boost it can give me.
Yeah. And the fact that you fought at Ellen Road, you know, you fought at your club stadium, and you've got that experience. And
yeah,
if he's coming over here thinking, oh, it's going to be the exact same as last time, then it's quite foolish, really, because like you say, it's not only the fight night itself, it's you've got 20,000 Leeds fans, and they're going to be there at the weigh-in. They're going to be, and they're there for you. So I just think if he's coming over thinking same mentality, people can talk all they want about how dangerous this fight might be for you, which it is, but the mentality that he needs to have needs to be right up there as well, because you've got 20,000 fans backing you.
100%, and I'm unbeaten in stadiums. I'm unbeaten in Leeds. So yeah, listen, it's one of them things that I don't look at it too much on how they're going to be
chilling, just smoking pot,
because I have done in the past, and I've made a mistake of thinking that some of the opponents are going to get washed up with the atmosphere and stuff. But then in same breath, some of the opponents what I thought might be a little bit more steely, I've crumbled on it. He's only a young lad, and like you say, he's not boxed in a crowd like this, and certainly won't boxed in a crowd so aggressive and so passionate. So it'd be interesting to see how he handles it, and yeah, it's going to be a lot different from what we boxed in front of last time.
Yeah, well, not only will you have the city of Leeds behind you, mate, but you'll have the whole of the UK behind you. So thanks for your time today, Josh.
Thanks, Greg. Appreciate that, mate.
All the very best for Saturday.
Cheers, buddy.
Thank you, Greg. This is just a reminder for any Mexican journalists we have on the call. If you'd like to ask Josh a question, we do have a translator here called Kieran. So just let me know if there's any questions there. Just moving on, we've got Lyndon Dixon, please, for your question.
Hola, buenos días. Quería decirle a los medios españoles si quieren hacer una pregunta a Josh Warrington. Tienes un traductor aquí por si acaso quieres hacer la pregunta. Así que pueden hacer la pregunta a Dan. Gracias.
Thank you, Kieran. If you go to Lyndon Dixon, please.
Hello, Josh. How are you, mate?
Hi, Lyndon. You okay?
Yeah, I'm great, mate. I know you're going to be getting this question all week, but 20,000 of the Leeds faithful. It's been a long time coming for you, mate, after the last, the defeat. But how much of a boost do you think that can be for you on Saturday night?
It's going to be a massive boost. It's already started. I still deliver tickets, and when people are telling me how much they're looking forward to it, it just gives me a drive. I know they're going to be there on the fight night. They're going to spend their hard-earned money on tickets being there. They spend their hard-earned money on an haircut, a new shirt, a few pints and that. And it's like they're coming to support you. So you've got to make sure that you're training, you're prepared as much as you can be, for them people. And I know on Saturday night they'll be bringing their energy, they'll be bringing the noise, and I use that energy. And like I say, it just does something to me. It just does something to my mentality. We're there to entertain. We're there to put on a performance. And I know that with that fans back, the adrenaline will be coursing through the veins as they walk into the ring. And I think that was the difference last time.
Sticking with the fans, it's been mentioned earlier, but I almost hoping that crazy atmosphere can get under his skin.
Listen, if it does, it's a bonus, but I don't look too much into that. Like I say, I wouldn't like to be an opponent walking out to him. Listen, we're respectful, but when you're against us, we're not the friendliest of bunch. So it's going to be one of them. If he if it does get under the skin, then it's an advantage to me. If it don't, then like I say, I know how much it gives me a boost.
Yeah, and you were the obvious favourite last time out, but it seems, well, definitely in the bookies anyway, it seems a bit more split. But I just was wondering, after the loss, has camp and preparations changed much from last time?
Yeah, pretty much so. I mean, the fight was only announced like 4.5 weeks notice, 5 weeks notice. So, there wasn't really much a game plan going into it. Just a case of just get the fight won. Whereas this one, we treat like any other opponent who I'd faced previously, where there's, game plans and shots were worked on and movements were worked on. So, yeah, it's been a bit more specific for this one. And I think I'll say that on Saturday.
Thanks, Josh.
Cheers, Lyndon.
Just moving on, Kieran, I know we've got a couple of questions here from the Mexican outlet. So if you wanted to take the lead on this section.
Yes, no worries. So I've got a question here from Iñaki, Josh, who asks, do you think a victory here would also represent a big victory for Matchroom, given that they've lost quite a few fights recently to Mexican boxers?
Yeah. First and foremost, Kieran, I thought you were Spanish, but
no.
But I think so, mate. Obviously, I'm representing Leeds boxing, representing myself, representing UK boxing, representing Matchroom. So, listen, I know Matchroom is worldwide now, but yeah, I guess so. Puts us back onto a level score, doesn't it? And we've got to start clawing it back. I think we've dominated world boxing in the last few years, but like I said, there's been a few upsets with the boys, from Mexico and from all around the world coming over and getting some results. So, yeah, we need to start fighting back.
I'll just translate that back. Sí, primeramente, creo que voy representando no solamente a Matchroom, sino Leeds Boxing aquí en el Reino Unido y también en el mundo, pero obviamente la empresa de Matchroom es muy grande y tenemos que igualar un poco el marcador, ¿no? Porque hay muchos boxeadores que han venido aquí y han hecho gran sorpresas, así que primeramente nosotros sí hicimos muy bien el boxing aquí en el Reino Unido y han habido algunas sorpresas, así que vamos a ver si vamos a igualar un poco las cosas. Okay, let me just double check. I think there was another question that came through.
Very well, lovely to listen to that, Kate. I tell you what, lovely to listen to that. You could read me bedtime stories, mate.
Okay, let's have a look at the other one. There was one. I think that's it, to be honest, Dan. I don't think there's any more questions. I think it was just a long-winded one.
So it looks like we have a question from Erika Montoya.
Okay.
Erika, if you just take yourself off mute on the button.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Hi to everyone. Nice to meet you, Josh.
Hello,
what did you learn? What did you learn about this fight with Lara?
The last time?
Yeah.
Yeah. I learned that I can't stop punches with my chin. Even having a good chin, it's not the best protection for stopping punches. So, yeah, and I also learned that never. It's just, well, I won't really learn, but just give me a reminder that you can never take anybody for granted, especially in this sport. 'Cause it's certainly not a tickling competition. You can get hurt, anybody can hurt you. So, and I will never, ever, as long as I carry on boxing, underestimate an opponent.
What are the adaptations you have to make for this second contest with Lara?
Adaptations, I think the mindset has to be right, and I think I have to just box the way that I know I can box. Like I say, I think I just got a little bit giddy last time, and I was looking for an early night, but not too worried about what was coming back. I know that I'm always fit, I'm always strong, but yeah, there's just a few little tweaks that we've done. I don't want to give too much of a game plan away, but a few little tweaks have to be done to get the victory on the night.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Erika.
Thank you, Erika. If we go to Jonathan Nagio for your question, please.
Hi, Josh. How you doing?
Hey, mate. You okay?
Yeah, good, thanks. See those paintings behind you, your wins over Selby and Frampton.
Yeah.
In some ways, does this feel, I know it's not a world title fight, but does this feel on a par with those fights, given this is your chance of redemption and everything that happened last time?
Yeah, I think so, mate. I think so. It's like every next fight is your biggest fight, and obviously the way that this one's been built, aside from the fight itself, it's one of the biggest fights that to happen since the pandemic. It's a hell of an undercard, but yeah, going back to the fight itself, obviously it's redemption. It's a rematch, and yeah, mate, it does really feel like there's a lot on the line. So I'm treating it like it's one of them massive nights. Not treating it like it's just Mauricio Lara. He's a massive. He's become a big name in my head, in my life. So yeah, it's do the business Saturday, and we might have to do another picture up here with me and Mauricio.
And just lastly, is sort of the mental preparation key for this fight? Obviously, last time you just vacated the IBF title, you wanted the Kanju fight, didn't happen, and then you fought someone who was at the time unknown.
Yeah.
Now you're heading in knowing all about him. You fought him, and this is the only fight you've been thinking about. Is that key for you, do you think?
100%, mate. 100%. I think that it would be a case of just get him done and go home. Get him done, go home, and get on with the next one. And obviously paid price for that, So this time round, all my attention, all camp has been about Mauricio Lara, and that would be the difference on the night. The way that I approach it mentally. Like I said, I know what it'll bring, so it'll be different.
Good luck, Josh. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Cheers.
And lastly, we've got Tom Gray from the Ring Magazine. Thanks, Tom.
Hey, Josh, how you doing?
Tom, how are you?
Good, mate. First of all, you're unbeaten as a pro for 12 years. From what I've seen since the setback, you've dealt with it emotionally. Has that been just for the cameras? How difficult has it been to deal with the loss, the first professional loss of your career?
I think I touched on this a few weeks back. Like, for a while, it didn't really bother me, like initially after the fight, because I had so many physical injuries. I come out the fight with a fair few injuries, and normally the blanket of the injuries were a distraction to the mental side of it. And then when my injuries recovered and physically I was okay, then mentally it started to bother me. It's like, shit, what's happened? I'm fucking number one in the world. Ring Magazine ranks number one. Box Rate ranks number one. All of a sudden, I've just disappeared out the fucking top 5. Now it's all come crashing down. I don't even know when I'm going to be next out. I'm meant to be fighting for other world titles, and I was the man above all of these other fighters who are coming through. And now it's like I've been relegated, not just one division, 3 divisions, and that's what it felt like. And get to a stage where you think, what's going to happen? But then my mindset became, well, do something about it. Do something about it. You're in control of your own destiny. You need to do something about it. So, I think he were, for a few weeks, made it up my ass, and I was a little bit down. But then, like I say, I had a word with myself, and I was all right then.
Everyone, that was watching the fight, or I won't say everyone, but most of the people were essentially saying that you didn't appear yourself even before you were hurt in that fight. You still had success in the fight, but you didn't look anywhere close to being the fight we've seen against Selby or Frampton. What major differences, I'm not just talking about mentally, but what differences do you see developing in this fight that will be completely different from the Josh Warrington that we've seen the last time?
Just the approach, mate. Just the approach. I just, like I say, last time out, I didn't give Mauricio Lara the credit, and I annoy myself like daily with that. I've annoyed myself that I didn't give him the credit. I should have been wary of what could potentially come back, and even at times in the first few rounds, I should have picked up on that as well. But I just still ignored it and thought I'd just blast him out there. And because I've over the last few years, such being a dominant force physically, and taking people's souls early. Like say Selby Frampton. I mean, Frampton 2 rounds. The fight was more or less done after 2 rounds, But I think that was the difference. I didn't do that, or maybe I did that too cocksure last time, and I know that approach can't last. Even with fighters who I've known about or feared, I'm wary. But with Lara, I wasn't. I didn't give a fuck, and I paid price for it.
And sorry, just to bolt on then, do you foresee a much smarter technical approach this time rather than trying to like gut check the fight?
Not so much technical, just a case of a little bit just more aware, if that makes sense. Just aware of myself, just worried about everything what could come back, and aware of what I'm throwing. I don't know when I be coming from last week round here. Do you know what I mean? It's like just everything needs to be a bit more sharper.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Tom.
Okay, Josh, really appreciate your time as always, mate. We will see you up in tomorrow. All the best.
Nice one. Right, I'm off for the sunbed. Cheers, guys. See you soon.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, next up we have Josh's opponent, Mauricio Lara, joining us. Just a reminder, we've got Kieran to help with translation for any questions from the UK media. And also I'm aware we have media on the call from Mexico as well. So we've got until 3 p.m. with Mauricio, so we'll try and get through as many as we can. We're just letting him in the call now. Hi Mauricio, thanks for joining us.
Hello.
Mauricio, ¿cómo estás? ¿Todo bien?
Todo bien, excelente. Saludos a todos.
Yeah, welcome. Hi to everyone.
Okay, so we'll get straight into it. We have a question from, apologies if I don't pronounce this right, Lautaro Sonandetto. If you'd like to go first, my friend.
Perfect. Yes, that is my name. Thank you. ¿Qué tal, Mauricio? Buenas tardes, Lautaro Tenloto de Bola Big México. Bueno, quería saber cómo te sentís a días del combate y cómo llega toda esta cuarentena que estuviste realizando en Croacia y todo el campamento.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Bien, gracias a Dios. Créeme que me siento muy contento, emocionado, ya con muchas ganas del primer face to face. Créeme que ya quiero verlo, quiero mirar los ojos, a ver qué temor tiene o qué ganas tiene de pelear conmigo. Y bueno, sobre la cuarentena, bien, hicimos una cuarentena excelente de 10 días en Croacia, pero ¿qué crees? Que no hubo problema del gimnasio, no hubo problema de nada, entonces estuvimos preparándonos muy bien y bueno, ya estamos a lo último y excelente, gracias a Dios.
Voy a traducir esta primera pregunta para los británicos que están aquí. So the first question was, how have you dealt with the kind of quarantine that you've had to go through coming up to the fight, and how has it been? And the answer from Mauricio was, yeah, I'm very happy. In fact, I'm really looking forward to this initial first face-to-face now, to look into his eyes and to see if there's fear there, to see if he wants to fight me. And then in terms of the quarantine that we've had to go through, we had 10 days in Croatia, where there were no issues whatsoever. We had a good gym there, so we're able to prepare well, and God willing, now we'll go on to have a good fight.
Perfecto. La siguiente pregunta que tenía es, post pelea, Eddie Hearn habló con ILFTV, y comentaba que vos no estás en la liga de ¿cómo se llama? De Josh Warrington, pero que un error abre este tipo de derrotas. ¿Consideras que no estás en el mismo nivel que Warrington después de esa pelea? ¿Y qué tipo de pelea tenés que hacer para, en todo caso, cambiarle el pensamiento a Eddie Hearn?
Bueno, como lo he dicho, la última pelea se vio que no somos del mismo nivel. Por algo gané y por algo no noqueé. Y bueno, estoy tranquilo, no me meto nada a la cabeza de eso. Créeme que a lo mejor es presión quieren presionarme, quieren exigirme más y bueno, tenemos una estrategia muy clara, muy buena y ganaremos el 4 de septiembre y bueno, no tengo que hacer ninguna pelea exigente y bueno, solamente requiero una pelea de título del mundo y ya estoy muy cerca de lograrlo.
So the second question here was, Eddie Hearn recently spoke on TV, on a channel, a boxing channel, and he explained that you are not in the league of Josh Warrington. You're not on the same level. Do you agree with that? And then do you feel you have to do anything to change his mind for that? And the answer from Mauricio was, I think we saw last time, and with the devastating knockout, that we're not on the same level. So I go into this fight very calm, very level-headed. I don't feel I have to do anything extra special to try and change his mind in that respect. It's just about preparing now for the 4th, and we're really close to achieving something now and going on to be a success at world level.
Perfecto. Gracias y todo el éxito, Mauricio.
Muchas gracias. Un abrazo. Cuídate mucho.
Okay, thank you. Next up, we will take a question from Jeremy Herridges, please.
Hi, Mauricio. You know, I know this fight's taking place in Leeds and in Josh's hometown. You have a habit of going now to your opponent's backyard and beating them there. Is there any added stress or intimidation factor in the fact that you will be fighting him in his hometown?
Bueno, Mauricio, en primer lugar, ¿qué tal estás? Obviamente, tú tienes la costumbre de ir a los patios de tus oponentes y causar sorpresas. Es un hábito para ti que ir a diferentes sitios y ganarles a tus oponentes. Pero hay una presión añadida, digamos un estrés añadido al estar peleando en su patio con todos sus fans ahí.
Hola, bien, gracias a Dios estamos bien. Espero que te encuentres igual bien. Y bueno, créeme que a lo mejor soy uno de los boxeadores que maneja la tranquilidad. Mucha tranquilidad manejo hacia mis combates cerca de la pelea y pues bueno, no. Y soy también de los boxeadores que no me importa dónde esté. A final de cuentas somos 1-1. Y pues bueno, el 4 de septiembre se verá arriba del ring quién es mejor.
So yeah, hope you're well. Thanks for the greeting there. In terms of my style, I'm one of those boxers that is very calm, and I'm very able to manage that calmness within me really well. I've had many fights, as you say, away from home. It's never been an issue for me. I don't really care because once we get in the ring, it's me against my opponent. It's 1-on-1, and we'll see on the 4th of September.
I've never seen a British dude speak
in the
so
first
good
fight. You
Spanish.
performed incredibly well, pulled off the upset. When you went back and watched that fight, how did you evaluate your performance? And did you surprise yourself, or did you kind of follow the game plan that you had originally set?
Sí, la sorpresa que diste al ganar esa pelea fue tremendo. ¿Has podido ir a volver a ver la pelea? Y si es así, ¿qué piensas de tu rendimiento en esta pelea? ¿Te sorprendiste tú misma también en lo que hiciste?
Bueno, créeme que sí, fue sorprendente, pero sí me la creo porque, como he dicho, he trabajado muy fuerte toda mi vida para las oportunidades y siempre las he aprovechado, bueno, y la he visto muchas veces, he visto muchos errores y muchas virtudes que he tenido y, bueno, los hemos pulido y hemos quitado los errores y, como lo dijo, y ya espero el 4 de septiembre porque verán un Bronco Lara muy diferente.
So yes, it was a big surprise, but I believed in myself greatly. So in that sense, I've been working all my life for those opportunities, and fortunately, I've been able to take advantage of those opportunities when they've come the way. I've looked back and I saw that I made many errors in the fight, and I did some great things as well. And we've been kind of polishing those errors to the extent that on the 4th of September, you'll see a very different Bronco Lara. You'll see a better Bronco Lara.
Thank you and best of luck.
Muchas gracias y te deseo toda la suerte.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeremy. If we go to Inaki Arzati next, please.
Iñaki.
Gracias. ¿Qué tal? Saludos. Mauricio, ¿cómo dejarle claro a Josh Warrington este sábado que no fue una sorpresa lo que sucedió en la pelea anterior cuando lo venciste por la vía del knockout? Y hablas de esos cambios. ¿En qué se basan estos cambios para este combate?
Bueno, hemos trabajado muy fuerte, créeme que hemos trabajado muy fuerte para ver esos cambios y los hemos hecho y los hemos trabajado muy bien. y bueno, saldrán a la luz el 4 de septiembre y ¿qué tengo que hacer? Nada, simplemente soy mejor que él y lo he demostrado día tras día el entrenamiento y el 13 de febrero se demostró y bueno, se lo volveré a enseñar para que no quede duda de que soy mejor que él y como lo dicen, no somos del mismo nivel.
So the question to Mauricio here was, hi Mauricio, what can you do to show the world of boxing, let's say, that knockout was not a surprise? And you also spoke about changes earlier. Can you tell us a little bit about those changes that you've made? And the answer from Mauricio was, we've been working really hard on these changes, day in, day out, and you'll see those changes, what changes we have made on the 4th of September. And then in terms of what do I need to do to show that I'm superior? Nothing really. I've been showing it day on day in training. I showed it emphatically on the 13th of February when we met last time. And all I need to do is now I know I'm better than him, so I just need to show this in our fights at the weekend.
Gracias. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. If we go to Chris Ridgway next, please.
Hi guys, you okay, Mauricio? I hope you're doing well. A couple of quick ones from me. Josh Warrington spoke about how he's preparing for this fight this weekend. What are you expecting that's going to be different from Josh Warrington for Saturday? What do you expect to see from him this weekend?
Hola Mauricio, espero que estés bien. Josh ha hablado mucho de su preparación y me gustaría preguntarte qué esperas que será diferente en cuanto a cómo va a enfrentar la pelea.
Hola, bien, gracias a Dios. Espero que te encuentres igual. Espero que aguante más golpes. Créeme que quiero una pelea, una guerra el día sábado. Y bueno, pues como lo he dicho, las peleas salen hasta el mero día, hasta que los dos estamos en el cuadrilátero, no podemos hacer planes y bueno, tenemos varias estrategias para los planes que traigan.
So, first and foremost, thanks very much. I hope you're well. Well, I hope he's able to take more shots. I hope that's what he's been preparing for, the ability to take on more shots, because it's going to be an all-out war when we meet on Saturday. And then in terms of fights, you can't really understand what happens until you both get in the ring and it's one-on-one. So, plans and strategies kind of go out the window. So I hope he's ready.
Have you done anything differently? I mean, Josh was speaking before about the difference in time period between announcement and fight, so the camp, if you like, was a little bit longer. Have you done anything differently this time, Mauricio?
Josh también ha hablado un poco de el periodo de tiempo que han tenido los dos para preparar. Quería saber, en cuanto a estar concentrado, quería preguntarte si has hecho algo diferente tú.
Sí, créeme que he hecho un cambio y un campamento muy diferente. La primera pelea fue de un campamento de un mes porque agarramos la pelea muy rápidamente, pero como lo he dicho, siempre he estado preparado y bueno, hoy tuvimos un campamento alrededor de 3 meses y cambió mucho. Va a haber muchas estrategias, va a haber mucho golpeo continuo y efectivo.
So yeah, it's been a completely different camp, because if you think about last time out, we were advised kind of quite late noticed, which meant we only had a month to prepare. This time it's been the changes we've been able to make because we've had 3 months. We had a really good camp, a 3-month camp preparing strategies. And I think in terms of what we can do differently, it will be to be able to throw continuous shots. That's what we've been working on.
Okay, cool. Final one from me. There's obviously been a lot of action in and around your division at the moment. Just wondering if you've seen any of the action, including Lee Wood and Kid Galahad, and just if you have seen them, what were your thoughts on those guys?
Sí, hablando un poco de la división peso pluma. Aquí tenemos algunos campeones británicos. No sé si has podido ver a Lee Wood o Kid Galahad, las peleas que han hecho ellos en la división, los campeones mundiales del mundo actuales. Y si es así, ¿qué piensas de ellos?
Buenos, son campeones y por ahora son campeones del mundo. Son los número 1 ahorita en la división de las 126 libras. Son muy buenos. He visto sus combates, he visto sus peleas contra Kanshu y he visto su combate de Kid Galahad. Y pues bueno, sabemos que son muy buenos. Por algo quedaron campeones del mundo. Y bueno, ahorita estoy enfocado en Josh Warrington. Créeme que es la prioridad ahorita. Y y bueno, el título que quieres de la FIB y después se dará después de esta pelea con Josh Warrington.
So yeah, I've been the boxers you mentioned are champions, are world champions for a reason. That they've both become number ones in their division. You know, so 126 at featherweight, they are very good champions. I saw the fight Lee Wood against Kanju. You know, he's a good fighter, and it was a good fight. And I've also seen Kid Galahad's fight that he had recently. So I'd say that they're great champions, but at the moment I'm entirely, completely focused on Josh Warrington. He's my priority. And then maybe in the future, my focus will be on the IBF title.
Brilliant. Gracias. All the best for Saturday.
Muchas gracias. Toda la suerte del sábado.
Thanks, Chris. If we go to Erika, please.
Hola Mauricio, buenos días. Me gustaría que me explicaras un poco cómo influye en tu confianza el haber obtenido en la pelea anterior un triunfo ante Josh Warrington.
Hola, bueno, estamos seguros por la preparación que hemos hecho. Créeme que hicimos una preparación muy exigente, muy fuerte. Me exigía al triple de la primera vez que hice la pelea con él. Entonces, por eso me siento tranquilo. No confiado, tranquilo en la preparación que hicimos, tranquilo en las estrategias que tenemos y bueno, sabemos el resultado que llevará el 4 de septiembre.
So yeah, perdona, traduzco? Sí, yeah. So the question here was, hi Mauricio, could you explain to me how much of an influence it has going into this fight that you won the last fight? And the response from Mauricio was, yeah, the reason why we're confident now is because of how well we've been able to prepare. We've had a really demanding training camp. You know, it's been triply as hard. They've demanded 3 times as much from me as they did in my last fight. So I'm really calm. I'm definitely not complacent, but I'm really looking forward to going into the fight. And hopefully we can see all the work, the fruition of the work on the 4th of September.
Mauricio, hablando un poco de tu campo de entrenamiento, manejabas una diferencia de casi 2 meses. La primera vez tuviste un mes para poderte entrenar y ahora tienes 3 meses. Pero también existe el riesgo de ir sobreentrenado. ¿Cómo manejaste todo? ¿Cómo balanceaste las cosas para llegar en su punto y volverle a repetir la dosis a Josh Warrington?
Bueno, créeme que he hecho muchas preparaciones largas, por eso no tenemos ese sobreentrenamiento. Créeme que está controlado, está practicado porque varias veces hemos hecho muchos campamentos, como por ejemplo con Manuel Navarrete, campeones del mundo. Entonces sabemos de la capacidad que tenemos y no vamos a llegar sobreentrenados. Créeme que llegaré muy fino.
So the question here was, Mauricio, you've had 2 months more to prepare for this fight. Last time out, you only had a month, and this time you've had 3 months. So with this difference and then having such a large camp, is there a danger of you overtraining? And the response from Mauricio in this chance, it was in this time around was, listen, I've been through many camps in my career and many long training camps. So there's no danger whatsoever of overtraining. It's all very controlled. It's something that we've done a number of times. I'm also training alongside world champions like Navarrete. So there's no danger of that. You can be sure that you will see me at my peak on the 4th of September.
Y por último, en mi parte, quisiera que Josh Warrington manejaba mucho la posibilidad de tener fanáticos ahí. Es algo que lo emociona, que lo llena de energía, que lo hace ir hacia adelante. Para ti, ir como el rival que va a la casa del peleador y tener el público en contra, después de tanto tiempo de no tener la posibilidad de tener fanáticos en el lugar, ¿te influye en algo o cómo lo manejas tú?
Créeme que sí influye. ¿Por qué? Porque me emociona, me motiva. Créeme que la misma emoción que tiene Warrington la tengo yo. Y al doble te lo puedo jurar que estoy muy emocionado, muy contento de estar aquí en esta tierra bonita. Y bueno, como lo he dicho, la gente apoyará al mejor boxeador el día sábado y bueno, salí con la mano en alto.
So the question here was, Josh Warrington, it's really important for him to have fans and to have that energy. And this will this surely make him go forward in the fight? And the answer was, from Mauricio, was, yeah, I mean, it makes me doubly as happy for him to have his fans there. I love coming to this country and I love being here. So I think this will spur me on even more, and we'll see on Saturday who gets their hands raised.
Mauricio, muchísimas gracias, que tengas mucho éxito.
Muchas gracias, cuídate mucho.
Okay, we currently don't have any more questions for Mauricio. So Mauricio, thank you so much for your time again.
All right, Dan, can I just ask one quickly? I forgot to put my hand up.
Yeah, of course you can, Ben. Jump in.
Hi, Mauricio. Are you a bit frustrated that you don't have a world title, considering that Warrington Josh vacated just before you fought him and beat him?
Sí, Mauricio, un poco de tristeza por no tener un título mundial, porque Josh había vacado el título antes de que tuvieran la pelea.
Bueno, créeme que sí, pero bueno, como lo he dicho, Dios es grande y sabe por qué hace las cosas, por algo no me lo dio y créeme que estoy más motivado que nunca porque lo quiero, ahora que estoy más cerca que nunca.
Yes, I suppose so. A little bit sad, but you know, he's a big fighter, he's an important fighter, and he obviously did that for a reason. But it just makes me even more motivated going into this, that I can go on to achieve bigger and better things.
Thank you.
Gracias, Mauricio.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that, Ben. Thanks, Mauricio. Really appreciate your time, and we'll see you in Leeds tomorrow.
Muchas gracias a todos y muchas gracias, Mauricio, y nos vemos en Leeds mañana.
Cuídate mucho. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care of yourselves. Thank you very much.
And thanks to Kieran as well. Thanks for your help, mate.
Thank you. Pleasure, mate.
Okay, next up we have Katy Taylor joining us. So as we're quite restricted on time, we're going to have to limit it to 2 questions each to begin with. And if you can try and stick to that, I know it's quite hard sometimes if you want to follow up with another question, but just to make sure that as many people can get a question in as possible, we might need to bring that down to 1 question by the end, okay? So we'll let her in now. If you've got any questions, just raise your hand and we'll get through as many as we can.
No. ¿Ya me puedes conectar, Siran?
Hi, Katy. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Katy. Can you hear us?
Yeah, how's it going? How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Thank you for your time as always.
Yeah,
We'll jump straight into it as I know we've got quite a few questions lined up. So firstly, I'll hand over to Michael Morrow, please. Your 2 questions.
Hi, Katy. How's it going?
Yeah, how's it going? How are you?
Good, good. Thank you. Listen, Jennifer Hahn has described this as the most important fight of her life. What are you expecting her to bring on Saturday night?
Yeah, I think for all of my fights, I obviously expect the opponents to bring their very, very best, better than they've ever performed before. So I'm always expecting the toughest fight every time I come up against these challengers. I think she's a very, very good fighter, very technical fighter. She had a good amateur career as well. So I am expecting a very, very tough and good fight. I'm prepared for that on Saturday night.
And just looking, I know you've spoken about saying something like Leeds is something like a second home to you. Going into Saturday, it's been a while since you've got a crowd this big for a fight. And how excited are you for the whole experience that comes with a big fight night?
Yeah, I'm really excited. This has been a long time coming. I feel like I haven't fought in front of a crowd in a long time. So to have a chance to obviously fight in front of hopefully 20,000 people. The atmosphere is going to be electric, and obviously I have a soft heart towards Leeds as well, so it is going to be really amazing to actually fight here. I have great memories growing up of coming here as a kid, visiting this city and going to Ellen Road and looking at seeing a few of the Leeds United games. So there are some of my best memories as a kid. So to have a chance to actually fight here is really special.
Good luck, Katy. Cheers.
Thanks a lot, Michael.
Okay, we go to Tom Gray from the Ring Magazine for his 2 questions, please.
Sorry, mute flaw there. Katy, how are you?
Hey, how's it going, Tom?
Not bad. Katy, this is obviously an IBF mandatory that you're going into, but you hold 4 governing body titles. Can you give us an idea of, all going well against Jennifer Hahn, the remainder of your dance card for 2021 and into 2022, because obviously there's going to be other mandatory obligations at lightweight coming up?
Yeah, I have no idea really, to be honest, who's going to be next after this fight. I'm obviously just purely focused on this fight on Saturday night. but there's obviously a lot of big names out there, the usual names, the Serranos, the McCaskills, all the big names. I'd obviously love those fights, but I just have to get over Saturday night first. My focus is completely, I have a job to do obviously on Saturday. It's not going to be an easy fight, so I have to just get over this hurdle first before even thinking about the next step.
Understood. I was just a touch late on to the call. I'm wondering if you had a look at Amanda Serrano at the weekend against Mercado, and if you saw it, what did you make of the performance, and could she be in your near future?
Yeah, I actually didn't watch the fight at all, but I heard she was obviously.
You were going to say that.
Yeah, it was obviously on all hours in the morning for us here.
Yeah,
yeah, I heard it was obviously a very good and dominant performance from her. I think she was saying after that she wants to unify that division first. So I don't know when that fight is going to be made. This is a fight that has been talked about obviously for years. And the fight hasn't happened, not because of me. I obviously wanted the fight. I obviously want the big names and the big fights. So I guess it's the ball is on her court.
Got it. Thank you, Katy.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Tom. If we go to Ron Lewis from Boxing Scene next, please.
Sorry, one sec. Hi, Katy. What's it like? Your old Olympic title is back in Irish hands now.
Yeah.
What did that feel like watching Kelly do it, and how big a fight would it be between you and Kelly in the future if she decides to go pro?
Yeah, I mean, I was obviously the proudest person in the world watching all the Irish athletes compete and perform, and to see that victory was absolutely phenomenal. Such a great performance, and just the honor of fighting for your country in the Olympic Games. There's nothing better really, but bringing so much pride and honor to your country is something very, very special. I was glued to the whole Olympic Games throughout, and just to see her compete and perform at the highest level and just perform so well as well was absolutely incredible. Yeah, but the fight between me and her, I don't know if she decides to go pro. I guess we can talk about that, but for the time being, I have my own opponents obviously to focus on.
Where was the last time you actually sparred? I presume you have at some point sparred with her. When was the last time?
I don't think I actually have sparred with her.
Really?
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think I actually have sparred with her. Yeah.
Do you think? I mean, from you to her. I mean, do you hope it sparks a real sort of renaissance in? Well, not really renaissance, a growth in Irish women's boxing.
Yeah, I think it already has really over the last few years, and Kelly's success over the last few years. I think it's been absolutely phenomenal for especially the kids in Dublin inner city. What she's actually doing for those kids, inspiring that generation, is absolutely phenomenal. It's very, very special, and just seeing the excitement of the people even watching her, the kids, the young girls growing up actually watching Kelly win that gold medal. You have no idea what that's actually going to do for the kids in that area. Such an amazing win, a phenomenal performance, and inspiring that generation, in especially the inner city kids in Dublin, is absolutely incredible.
Excellent. Cheers, Katy.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers.
Thanks, Ron. If we go to Ben Mckenna next, please, for 2 questions.
Hi, Katy. Just one from me with the affinity and connections you have to Leeds, and where will Fighting at Headingley rank in all the places you fought during your pro career?
Yeah, I think, I mean, just the fact that I'm actually going to be fighting here in front of 20,000 people, I think this could be a phenomenal night for myself. The atmosphere alone is going to be very, very special. But yeah, I never even thought of even having a chance to fight here. So it is very, very special for me. And as I said before, I have some amazing memories growing up, just visiting this city and going to Ellen Road, going to the football games. I have a strong connection obviously to the city, so it is going to be a very, very special night for me.
Thank you. Best luck.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Ben. If we go to Sean Mcgoldrick for your 2 questions, please.
Hi, Katy. Actually, just go back to what Kelly said there about, or what you said about your sparring with Kelly. she actually remembers you sparring, so you obviously don't, do you?
Oh, right. There you go.
Years ago, she said it was.
It must have been a long time ago. Yeah.
Just to what you said there about Leeds United, do you remember a specific game that you were at that sort of sticks in the mind?
I actually don't remember who they were playing against, but I just remember I obviously grew up with Leeds United jerseys all the time. Just the excitement of actually going to a Leeds game, wearing the jersey, wearing the Leeds scarf, just the excitement that brought to me. And we went over to Leeds specifically for that game. So yeah, it was just a great deal of excitement in our house actually traveling over for a Leeds United game.
No, was it just yourself and your dad, or did the whole family go?
Myself, my dad, and my brother. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And just one other thing, it was reported on social media last night, going back to the Serrano fight, that the Jake Paul donated half his purse to the other fighters, including $500,000 to Serrano. I mean, do you think, whatever the truth in it is, but do you think that's a poor reflection on the kind of purses that women's fighters in generally get, that they have to be supplemented by something like that?
Yeah, well, fair play to Jake Paul if that is true, really. I kind of wish I was on his undercard now. But yeah, I mean, I think he gave a lot of his purse away to all the fighters in that card, I think, besides Fury, I believe. But yeah, I mean, that's an amazing donation from his part. And I mean, in terms of the purses, yeah, I feel like we've definitely bridged that gap greatly over the last few years. You still haven't gotten to a place where we're getting as much as the guys, but I think we have made great steps towards with that side of things. So I'm obviously very, very happy with the purses I'm getting.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Sean. If you go to Ben Davis from Mirror Fighting for your two next, please.
Hi, Katy. Just one from me. So you've mentioned Serrano and McCaskill. Is kind of a return to America something you could see kind of you entertaining in the future?
Yeah, I love that, actually. I think the last few fights have obviously been here in the UK, which is incredible, but I would love to have a few more fights in the US as well. So I'm sure that is on the radar at some stage. And those kind of fights, I think, will be perfect for that.
Cool. Thank you. That's all from me. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. If we go to Jim Conlon next, please.
Hi, Katy. For a long time, you shared the torch in terms of female Irish boxing, in terms of our only Olympian success. Did you like that role, being the only lady carrying the torch for so long? And do you start to feel glad now that you're sharing it with Kelly?
Oh yeah, this is what it's all about. My me getting involved in the sport and competing in the Olympic Games and bringing back that gold medal was to inspire the next generation. And I feel like the girls competing, for likes of Katy, Michaela Walsh, and Aoife O'Rourke, those girls competing is part of my legacy as well. So this is what I'm in the sport for, is to inspire those girls to actually go on and achieve more than I've ever done. And I think that is what true legacy is all about.
And I suppose, Katy, there's awful talk, I suppose, in terms of female boxers and promotions, and say people are trying to duck this and dodge this, and for some reason this didn't happen or this didn't happen. Do you start to take any notice to it? Do you start to alienate yourself from it? And do you feel it's more of a distraction if you were to think about it and get it on your conscience? Are you the type of fighter saying what will be in terms of fights, and whatever people are saying, I take no notice to it until I see them in front of me in the ring?
Yeah, I think that's the mindset you have to have in this game. You really don't know. I obviously want the big fights, but the two teams obviously have to come together, negotiate, and make the fight happen. And I obviously have a great team of people around me, and I keep that's I guess their responsibility. Their part is actually make those fights happen. I'm just here to focus on my fights, on my training, and thankfully I have been involved in some of the biggest fights in women's boxing, and I don't think we've ever ducked any opponents, and I think my caliber of opponents have you have all seen, I guess, who have actually fought in the past, and we want the big fights. We want to be involved in history making fights, and I think me and my team have done a great job with that.
Cheers, Katy.
Cheers, thank you.
Okay, if you go to Steve Bilton next, please, for a question.
Hi, Katy. It's Steve from Boxing UK.
Hi, how's it going?
Hi, Katy. It's nearly 5 years since you turned pro, Katy. Are you happy with the progress that women's boxing's made in that time? And are you aware of just what legacy you've left over that time?
Yeah, I think the last few years have been obviously the most exciting of my whole career, really, both amateur and professional. I am very, very happy that we've bridged so many gaps. I think when I first turned pro 5 years ago, we didn't really know how this journey was going to go. Women's professional boxing was kind of unknown. So just to see where it is right now is absolutely phenomenal. I think there's so many female boxers right now, especially in the UK, that are actually household names, which is incredible. The likes of Savannah Marshall, Terry Harper, these kind of girls that have made big waves in the sport as well. So I'm very, very happy, obviously, with where it has come along in the last 5 years, and the best is yet to come as well.
Thanks, Katy. Good luck at the weekend.
Thank you.
Take care.
Cheers.
Steve, if we go to Danny Flexen from Seconds Out for his question, please.
Hey, Katy, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, good, thank you. You mentioned Serrano and McCaskill as future targets. What about back here in the UK? So the likes of Chantel Cameron or Natasha Jonas rematch, maybe even Terry Harper. Do any of those interest you?
Yeah, of course. I think all of those would interest me, really. As I said, I'm very, very happy to step into the ring with anyone. I'm very open to any big name out there, and those names are obviously huge names as well. And I'm honestly genuinely just willing to fight anyone and step in the ring with anyone. And those names do excite me as well.
Thanks, Katy.
Cheers.
Thanks, Danny. If we go to Ryan Elliott from Boxing Social for his question, please.
Hi, Katy. Thanks for joining us. Just a one question from me. I just want to touch on your opponent, Jennifer Han. I was just wondering how much of her you've actually watched and what you think she does well as well.
Yeah, I don't tend to watch a lot of my opponents, to be quite honest, but I leave that stuff up to my coach. I watch a few clips every now and then, but yeah, I've seen a few clips of her. I know that she's technically very good. As I said, she has got a nice solid amateur background as well. So yeah, she's quite technical. I think she's going to bring her best game on Saturday night. That's usually the case when stepping into the ring against myself. So I'm expecting obviously a very, very tough fight. She has a great record as well, obviously. She has earned her place as the #1 challenger for the IBF. So she's here to take all my belts, but I'm obviously here to take all my belts home with me as well. So I'm looking forward to a great night on Saturday, a great performance for myself, and I know that she's going to bring her absolute best game.
All right, thank you, Katy. Best of luck.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. If we go to Sasha Jones from Women's Fight News, please.
Hi, Katy.
Hi, how's it going?
Good, thank you. You said against Tasha Jonas that you felt like you made a lot of mistakes. Is there anything in particular that you've worked on, for this camp coming into this fight?
Did I say that?
I promise you did, yeah. I don't think you did, but I do promise.
Yeah, I mean, I very rarely come out of the ring thinking there's no such thing as a perfect performance. I don't think. There's always things to work on, which is a great thing about boxing. Really, you're always I always want to improve. I always want to be better than my last fight, and I've definitely worked on a lot of things over the last few months. I do feel like I'm a better boxer today than I was in the last fight. And I hopefully that will show on Saturday night. But yeah, that's as I said, that is the great thing about boxing. You're always constantly working on things. You can constantly get better, and that's why it's very, very hard to get bored. It's not it's impossible to get bored in this sport because of that. I still have the passion for this sport. I still want to get up every single day and improve and get better. And yeah, and I'm thankfully I'm working with one of the best coaches in the world as well, in Rossina Might. So I feel like I'm improving all the time.
Yeah, perfect. Well, good luck at the weekend.
Thanks a lot. Yes.
Thanks, Sasha. If you go to Chris Ridgway for his question, please.
Hi, Katy. Okay.
Yeah, not too bad, Chris.
Just a quick one for me. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about looking back, or since your time in the Olympics and turning pro and everything else. Just how have you evolved and progressed as a fighter and as a person since turning pro and before, I guess, until present day and where we are now?
Yeah, I think I've evolved greatly in both. Actually, as obviously as a person, I feel like I've grown so much, and as a boxer as well. I didn't actually realize. I just thought boxing was boxing all the time. I didn't realize how different the two sports were until I actually was sharing with a lot of these top pros in America. I definitely had to evolve my game a lot. And there's things that work in amateur boxing that actually don't work in the pro game, and vice versa. They are two completely different sports, and I learned that I did have to adapt along the way and evolve along the way. And I feel like I'm more of a pro boxer today than obviously I've ever been. So. It has been definitely a big learning curve for me, but I love the challenge of that as well. I have loved the challenge of professional boxing and how different the two sports actually are. It's been a great few years.
All the best for Saturday, Katy.
Yes, thanks, Chris.
Okay, Katy, we really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for that. And see you up in Leeds tomorrow. Take care.
Yeah, see you soon. Thanks.
Bye-bye. Okay, so next up we have Katy's opponent Jennifer Han joining us. If you have any questions for Jennifer, please raise the hand emoji. Apologies to anyone who didn't get to ask a question there, but we're on quite tight schedules. We've got the full card doing these today.
That's a beautiful head of red hair in a very heterosexual way. The gingers out here winning.
Thanks for joining us.
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. We'll jump straight into it. So we'll go to Sasha Jones from Women's Fight News, please.
Hi, Jennifer. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So obviously this is going to be your first fight in the UK. So how's the experience been so far for you?
Getting used to, one second. Getting used to the, can you see me? Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Getting used to the time difference is a little bit different. I'm still a little bit, jet lagged. But other than that, England is beautiful. I'm enjoying every minute.
Amazing. And has there been any fights that you've previously had that you think will help coming into this fight against Katy?
I have a lot of experience as a pro. I've had a lot of experience as an amateur. So there's been many, many fights that have gotten me prepared for this level. So, I mean, even sparring my sister Stephanie has prepared me for this fight. I've been blessed to have lots of championship fights.
Yeah. Well, great. Good luck at the weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sasha. If we go to Chris Ridgway next, please.
Hi, Jennifer. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks. Good. I just want to start. Obviously, the fact you're facing Katy Taylor this week, and Katy's a huge name in the sport of boxing. Just what are your opinions of her as a boxer? What do you feel are her main attributes and things to look out for?
I have lots of respect for Katy Taylor. I mean, she was Olympic gold medalist. She has done something that not many females have been given the opportunity to be unified world champion. And she has done it all in a huge spotlight in her face. She's done a great job. She's fast, she's strong, she's got experience, but so do I.
How does your life change if you win on Saturday?
My life will change. My life has already changed, but if I win and become the unified world champion, that would be the biggest accomplishment that I've ever done in my boxing career. It'll be huge to bring that back home to my country and to El Paso and to my family and to my team. It's like, that'll be life-changing.
Well, all the best. We'll be watching. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you. Thank you. See you soon.
Thanks, Chris. If we go to Jonathan Nagio next, please.
Hey, Jennifer. Thanks for joining us. How long has sort of Katy, how long have you been watching her? Did you ever think this fight would happen?
I mean, I never thought that this fight would happen so soon. I'm very, very blessed that things fell into place and that I'm getting this opportunity now. I've known Katy for many, many, many years. I don't know her personally, but I've heard of her as an amateur boxer. I also waited for the Olympics 2000, 2004, 2008. Didn't happen. Women's boxing barely turned an Olympic sport in 2012. I turned pro in 2009. I followed Katy's career, not just her career, all the Olympians, and we're very proud of her accomplishments when she won gold medal. So I've heard about Katy Taylor for many, many years. So I've known about her and I've followed her career, and I know she's an outstanding fighter. And this is not it's not somebody that I just barely heard of. I've known her for quite a while.
Can you just touch on sort of your accomplishments so far? Former world champion, held the IBF belt.
Yeah, I've been the IBF champion. I won in 2015. I never lost it. I just moved up to the IBF mandatory at 135. I am very, very, very excited because even as mandatory, I was supposed to fight on Katy Taylor's undercard last year in May, but because of COVID, it kind of messed things up. And I had my second son about 6 months ago, and the opportunities came, and of course I'm going to seize them. And this is definitely the fight of a lifetime. So I'm very, very happy to be here.
Just lastly, what can the UK fans watching on DAZN expect from you and your style?
So I think the fans in general, boxing fans in general, can expect a great technical fight because I don't plan on fighting Katy Taylor's fight. I don't plan on staying in front of her and letting her do what she does best. So check it out.
That's a lot. Cheers.
Thank you.
Okay, if we go to Ryan Elliott from Boxing Social next, please.
Hi, Jennifer. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Obviously, this is going to be the first time we've had you over in the UK for a professional fight, so hopefully we get to know you a bit better. Could you tell us a bit about how you started boxing in the first place and what boxing means to your family as well? I heard you mention sparring with your sister and stuff as well.
Yes. So my siblings, I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and my dad is Master Han. We started in martial arts. And then from martial arts, we moved on to kickboxing. Being a female, I got a lot more opportunities in boxing. And boxing, I was a 6-time national boxing champion, traveled all over the world, turned professional boxing. I love boxing. It's been very good to me. And I've had the most accomplishments there.
You mentioned you started in martial arts, you tried kickboxing. Boxing's the one that stuck. You mentioned the opportunities came, but what was it specifically about boxing, do you think, that appealed to you and made you run with that as a career as well?
Like I said, I got the most opportunities in boxing as a martial artist, and in kickboxing. When I started, there wasn't a lot of competition for me. And sometimes I would show up to tournaments and wasn't able to fight, but boxing opened huge doors for me. And that's why I stuck with it, because I got much more competition.
You mentioned it just briefly before the birth of your son, your second son. You
Yes.
took a bit of time away from boxing for that. You're back now. How much motivation does being a mother provide for you, not only to build a better future for yourself, but your children?
Oh, I'm so blessed to have my sons. They have definitely pushed me more than anything. I want to make them proud of their mother. I want them to see that whatever goals you set, you can accomplish if you work hard for it.
Jennifer, this is your UK debut. You have fought abroad before, though. I wanted to ask you a bit about what it was like fighting in South Korea, what that whole experience was like.
Fighting in South Korea was awesome. I am half Korean, so it was the first time that I got to meet my family face to face. And it was actually the second time I got to visit in Korea. The first time I had visited my Korean grandmother with my father, but the experience was amazing. I enjoyed the people. I enjoyed the culture. I enjoyed fighting in front of my dad's people, basically. It was amazing. It was awesome. I didn't get the decision I wanted, but that was one of the best fights I'd fought up until that point.
This weekend is a huge opportunity, undisputed lightweight title on the line. I just wanted to know, back home when the news broke that you were going to be coming over here and challenging for these belts against a modern legend in Katy Taylor, what was the reaction like in El Paso? I'm sure you had plenty of messages of support.
It was awesome. For El Paso, that is the biggest news for women's boxing, period. So I've had a lot of support from my community and especially from my team and from my family. And this is it.
All right, Jennifer, I'll pass you on to the other guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. If we go to Sean Mcgoldrick next, please.
Hi, Jennifer.
Hi.
I spoke to you last week on the phone, you might remember, but just two quick things from me. How difficult is it to leave your two baby sons at home and travel?
Oh man, you hit me right in the heart. It's been difficult, but my husband's been he's been doing a good job of taking care of the boys, and he calls me and I get to speak to them every day, and I miss them terribly, but this is such a huge opportunity, and if they were older I would have brought them along, but right now they're very young, so they need to stay at home. But I'm doing this for them, and they will understand. And my son, my 2-year-old, he misses me terribly, but I'll be home soon.
Just how difficult was it? Because as you said, you had your second son just 6 months ago. I mean, how difficult was it to lose the weight and go back or get into the shape for 135 to face Katy?
Well, there's nothing easy about boxing ever. Nothing easy. But losing that weight was definitely an obstacle. I got quite large when I was pregnant. So since having the baby, I've already lost 75 pounds. So it's been a struggle, but I did it and I feel great and I'm ready to fight.
See you on Saturday. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. If we go to Danny Flexen next, please.
Hey, Jennifer, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. You're obviously a distinguished world champion, 126 pounds.
Yes, sir.
Why did you skip the 130-pound division, especially now you have a fellow American in Mikaela Mayer, who's the WBO champion at the weight?
Right. I think anybody would skip a division to get the chance to fight Katy Taylor. So for me, it was a no-brainer. I mean, I fought my entire career as featherweight, but I'm ready to move up, and Katy Taylor gave me this opportunity, and I'm going to seize it. I'm not going to wait around and be like, oh no, I need to fight at super featherweight. Nope. Lightweight is good for me. Lightweight is good for me.
So assuming you win, this would be a permanent move up to 135.
Absolutely. We're up for bigger and better things.
And you had 2 years roughly out of the sport. You had your second child, of course. Did you ever consider walking away from the sport at that point, given everything you'd already achieved?
Actually, when I was pregnant with my first son, I was ready then. I was ready. I felt I was ready because I wasn't getting any of the big fights. I was defending my title successfully and not being put on TV. And we were working so hard and I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. So I was a little bit disappointed in boxing because, I worked hard and I wasn't getting what I felt that I deserved. So I was ready to hang up the gloves. After my son was born, when I get pregnant, I don't know if it's because I'm older, I get quite big, and I only came back to boxing to lose weight. And as I was losing weight, my coach was very impressed. He was like, "You've been sparring better than ever. You need to fight." So then I fought last year, February, and then we talked to the IBF about moving up in weight, and they were going to put me on the IBF. They're going to put me on the Katy Taylor undercard for May 2nd, like I had said earlier, but COVID happened and they weren't allowing foreigners even when they rescheduled her fight. So baby number 2, I mean, my life can't stop. It has to move forward. And I got back into shape again, but I feel amazing. And this is definitely my time. Like all the pieces are falling together, and I'm so excited. This is the best experience I've had in boxing, and I'm ready for it.
And just finally, can you talk to us about Katy's last couple of performances and anything that stood out to you about those?
So I remember her fights with Delphine Persoon, and Delphine, she is probably the definition of perseverance and hard work, because wow, I enjoyed those fights. Katy showed a lot of heart, and she took a lot of punishment from Persoon, but she kept going forward and she never went down. I enjoyed the fight with I don't know how to say her last name, but with Christina. She did. She was a very, very tough opponent. She moved up in weight. That was a great fight. And I also enjoyed her last fight. Who was the girl that she fought? You tell me about names and I'm just like, what? Say it again.
Natasha Jonas.
Yes, Natasha Jonas. And she was a southpaw, so she's shown that she can fight different opponents and change and adapt to their style. So Katy Taylor is there's a reason why everybody calls her pound for pound best, because she can adapt, she can apply her skills. So it's a privilege to fight the best of the best.
So with all that in mind, why will you succeed where the others came slightly short?
So I believe that all of them have still fought for Katy's game plan, and I'm not going to criticize any of them for it. They've all fought their best fights, but I don't plan on fighting for Katy's game plan.
Thank you, and very best of luck.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Danny. If we go to Jason Fletcher next, please.
Yeah, g'day, Jennifer. It's Jason Fletcher here from Fight for 360 Australia. How are you today, man?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Congratulations on the fight first, and your second son. Congratulations on that.
Thank you
So
very
just
much.
want to ask you, women's scope of women's boxing in general, how do you feel the transition was from when you started to now, and where do you see it going? Similar to the UFC, Dana White did a fantastic job. The girls are now,
I agree,
headlining the cards, and the fellas are under the undercard. Do you see a day where that's going to happen for women's boxing? Because I know that Lou DiBella is doing it over in the States.
Yes.
Do you see it going worldwide?
I think it is. That is definitely the direction that it's going. And when I first started boxing, women's didn't have. There was Christy Martin, there was Layla Ali, there was Lucia Riker. There were huge names in women's boxing, but the promoters didn't always do a great job of sharing our side of the story. Just like Dana White from the UFC, I think he's done a tremendous job of promoting women's combative sports, and I believe that the direction in women's boxing is going the same way. It's a little bit slower, but it's going the same way. I think a lot of the promoters, especially in boxing, still haven't taken that jump for females, and they're missing out because there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of exciting fights, and they need to invest in us. And with Katy Taylor and Clarissa Shields and all these amazing amateur gold medalists from the Olympics, they're shining in professional boxing. And especially with Katy Taylor, she's done a great job of being classy and a talented fighter and making that money. She's definitely stepped up the game for women's boxing. So I do appreciate that from her. And I feel that she's exposing women and how strong and talented and beautiful and how deserving they are of these opportunities, just like the men.
Exactly. And just we've got an Australian girl on the undercard, Ebony Bridges. Has she come across your desk? Have you noticed anything that Ebony's been up to? She certainly can draw a crowd.
No, I haven't. This is the first time I've heard of her, and I'm excited to see her fight as well.
Excellent. And just one more question: you feel you go bring out the mama bear mentality for the fight?
Absolutely.
I know those mums can get pretty angry.
This is something that it's been building my entire life. I've worked for this my entire life. And then having my sons, it's just more motivation. You won't know because you were never pregnant, but it's life.
I'm glad I never was. My wife went through it 4 times.
Right. But it's life-changing as a mother because the way your body changes, what you go through, I mean, it makes you mentally tougher. Like I've always been mentally tough, but after having my sons, it makes you stronger. And I'm ready and I'm excited and I'm ready to show the world.
Absolutely. Well, good luck on the weekend. Thank you very much for your time, ma'am, and good luck to you.
Yes, sir. Have a good day.
Thanks, Jason. If you go to Lyndon Dixon next, please.
Hi, Jennifer. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. There's going to be quite a few fans there, 20,000 to be specific, on Saturday.
Right.
And by the sounds of it, they're all cheering on for Katy. But are you ready for that atmosphere?
So I've never fought in front of 20,000 plus people, so this will be a first. But I am a professional. I've prepared for this. That's not something I'm worried about. I've fought in other people's hometowns before. I fought in other people's countries. It is what it is. And I understand that they're going to go for their girl, but I hope that my fighting style gives me a few cheers on that side too. So we'll see, but that's not my big focus. My focus is on the fight. And if I win a few fans, that's great. But my job is to win. And that's all I'm worried about. I'm not worried about being the fan favorite.
That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Jennifer, thank you so much for your time. And we will see you in Leeds tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Take care. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Hey, Jen.
Hello?
No, I don't think that was a question, Jennifer. I think that was just a bit of noise interference. Apologies.
Oh.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, we have a short 8-minute break until Adrian Granados is joining us. So apologies for anyone hoping to get a word with Conor Benn. We're going to sort out a call for him tomorrow afternoon. So if you just want to let me know if you'd like to join that, just drop me a message on here or an email or a text. I'll make sure we get some time with him tomorrow afternoon. And as I say, we're just waiting for Adrian Granados to join us now.
I'm going to actually end right here. And we're going to be streaming later on again today. So I got a lot of streams lined up. Also, remember, on Thursday is the Sean Porter versus Terrence Crawford purse bid. 7 a.m. Australian time. I forgot what time that is. I'm going to be releasing a video that me and Big J did on the WBO. Tim Tszyu, Jamel Charlo, Tony Harrison, Bakram, Murtazaliev. What else is this week? Something else is this week. It should be some other shit going on. Also, we got to do a stream, half an hour on our Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley wrap up. So I'm going to end this stream right here. And when Ebony Bridges and Adrian Granados come on, we're going to talk to them later on. Or I'm going to, record.